G'day mates, in today's video I'm going to kick off talking about the new Lightning Cups that just got announced with these new formats that Epic are testing out for Fortnite competitive, give you my thoughts on them. Also, the new PlayStation Cup just got announced, but it's got two crazy new rules. You need to be over 16 years old to compete in it, and you need an active PS Plus account. And this has upset a lot of people, but I found a really weird thing in the official rules that I want to go through that might not make that the case. I also want to talk about the new teams. Everyone's freaking out that Miro and Booger have already split up, Benjy and Savage aren't playing together, Tayson and Thomas split up. Everyone's freaking out. I want to set the record straight on who are the new teams and who are just troll teams. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. To start off, I want to talk about the new PlayStation Cup that just got announced because it's not like all the other PlayStation Cups. There's two major rule changes. First off, you need to be over 16 to compete, not 13, and you need an active PlayStation Plus account. The PlayStation Plus part, I don't really understand how they're going to figure that out. I don't play on PlayStation. Maybe you guys know, but when you queue up, it might detect that you don't have PlayStation Cup and just not let you play. That part I can't get to the bottom of. The age part is interesting because there's been a weird change in rules between the actual PlayStation posted rules and then Fortnite's competitive rules. And usually you go to the competitive rules for how things are going to work because that is like the actual legal written out document that Epic shows if someone tries to contest, because there's money on the line here. So this needs to be legally binding documents. In that document, it says 13 or older, but on the PlayStation Cup website, it says 16 or older. And if you go to the see full rules on the PlayStation Cup website, it then goes to link not found. The link you clicked has been deleted or suspended. So I think there's been some miscommunication, and I'm going to guess the Fortnite competitive official rules have just been copied and pasted from another tournament and they haven't actually checked the age restriction. So where I stand on that would be, if you're over the age of 13 and you play in the tournament, I don't feel like they're going to come and ban your account. I don't know, maybe they could ban your account because you're supposed to be 16 or older or playing, but the official rule says 13. But I think the issue will come when you go to claim your money. If you try to claim your prize pool and you're under the age of 16 and you submit your tax information, they're going to see you're under the age of 16 and they're not going to give you your money. And I did hear people in my Twitch chat to say today, oh, I'll just say my dad was playing. And while technically you could do that, that will be counted as tax fraud. So I would be careful doing that. You are saying that your dad made money, which he didn't make, and now you're forging legal documents. So I don't think the SWAT team's going to come after you for $100 of Fortnite earnings, but I'd still be careful. But the main thing is the way the prize pool works is you're not really likely going to make money. I know some of you guys who watch my videos are demons, but EU only top 50 is making money. On some of the regions like OC, only top 10 are. And this is teams though, at least, but that's pretty crazy. The fact that only on EU are you guaranteed prize money. It's $400 for last on EU and $2,000 for first. So a decent prize pool, like they said, $140,000, $114,000. So it is looking pretty good. The way it's going to work is March 11th is going to be round 1. March 12th is going to be round 2. I'm not sure I can really trust the official rules now because that age thing is wrong, but it looks like the format for day 1 is going to be 10 games, 3 hours, each elim is worth 1 point, the win is worth 25, and then top 50 teams are going to go through into round 2, which is going to take place on March 12th. That's going to be 32 points for the win, and each elim is worth 3. And I trust that because that's basically how they've been doing all their formats this season, where the round 2 or the finals is worth more as far as the points go. As far as prize pool, like I said, it is very, very spread out as far as the actual, first down to 10th gets the decently similar amount of money. It's weird that certain regions you're not going to guaranteed get money from this PlayStation Cup. I also found it interesting that in the official rules, there's also an April session. So there's going to be another PlayStation series like this in April. So PlayStation really is throwing around the money, and we've already talked about how Xbox isn't. Xbox players are really upset by this. I get it. But again, you're going to have to take up Xbox. Fortnite isn't putting up this prize pool. This is very much a prize pool and a tournament Sony is putting up through Fortnite. So you can't really get annoyed at Fortnite because they're not designating the prize pool. And Sony, I do have a part ownership and stake in Fortnite now. So you can expect more tournaments like this in the future. So if you want to play in them, you want to get involved, it might be worth getting a PlayStation. As hard as that is to get, I know. But it's going to be interesting to see because there's really good console pros out there and pros like Reet who aren't 16, who aren't going to be able to play in these tournaments. So I don't know why they've made it over 16. I really don't understand that. If you can play in World Cup at 13, why couldn't you play in a PlayStation Cup? I can't see anything anywhere about their reasoning on why they wanted to make it 16. I don't think Fortnite did that. I think that's specifically PlayStation and Sony. So don't expect future Fortnite tournaments to be over 16. But yeah, just want to let you guys know if you're going to play in the PlayStation Cup, make sure you're over 16 and make sure you have PlayStation Plus. First up, we have these brand new Lightning Cups that Fortnite Competitive just announced. We don't have official rules or formats or anything like that, so don't expect that, but we do know exactly what they are. So Fortnite Competitive tweeted out, we've just added 2 new Lightning Cups on March 15th and 17th with new tournament formats. Expect to see more Lightning Cups as we bolt into next season. They respond to this with Lightning Cup formats. Best of. Your best 5 matches out of 7 will be the only matches that count towards the leaderboard, and the second one was high score. Your best match in 2 hours will be the only match that counts towards the leaderboard. So they've talked about this kind of format before, at least the best 5 out of 7. We never actually got to see it implemented, and I think these Lightning Cups are going to be their way to test new formats, and high score sounds not the greatest. I feel like it's just going to be an absolute W key fest, and if it's only 1 game in 2 hours, but you have, I'm going to guess, a maximum of 7 games like they normally do in 2 hours, half the lobbies are just going to wait until halfway through to try to get a low skill-based matchmaking lobby, and everyone else is going to start at the start and keep playing multiple games, and they're all going to be really dead and just huge W key fest. I don't really understand what they're going well for with high score. I do get the idea of a best of series because Fortnite's always had an issue where the pacing of the tournament and whether you get into the last queue or whether you don't has always been a huge issue, but I feel like best 5 of 7 could potentially make that even worse. It's just going to be trying to drop a huge few first games, and if you don't get like a 30 or 40 bomb in your first game when skill-based matchmaking is low, it's just going to create issues later on. I actually feel like a lot of teams are going to do what Mongrel and Metro do, where they start, they play 1 game, then they wait like half an hour, play another game, wait half an hour, play another game, and it's just going to create really weird tournament pacings where instead of just trying to play to the best of their ability, pros are just trying to play to the format. They're trying to cheat the system and kind of make skill-based matchmaking work for them. The only other way around this would be to just turn skill-based matchmaking off, but that would be even worse. So it's cool to see. They're a bit of fun, but I don't really know why they're testing these formats because I think either of them would end up making Fortnite Competitive worse, but it's a little bit of fun. Like I said, we don't really have the exact format of how many games or the prize pool or even whether it's solos or duos. I don't actually know what the game mode is, but I'm excited to see a little bit of a funner tournament. I just really don't hope this has a huge effect on competitive in the long run. On top of all these new Lightning Cups and the PlayStation Cup, Epic has announced another solo cash cup as well at the end of this season. So round 1 is going to be taking place on the 14th of the 3rd, and round 2 is going to be taking place on the 16th of the 3rd. That's the same way that duos works, where there's the round 1 day off and round 2, and it's going to be the last in-game Fortnite tournament for everyone, not just console specific, because obviously we have the console Champions Cup coming up at the very end of the season. I don't know why this is solos and not duos. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but hey, it's another cash cup. I'm not really going to complain. We did have the duo cash cup today, and I do want to talk about all the new teams that are forming, all the new teams that are playing, because you guys are freaking out. You keep telling me, oh my gosh, Benjy and Savage split. Benjy's playing with Clicks, and now Miro and Booger have split after they won FNCS because Rise was playing with Miro, and it's all a bit crazy. So let me just talk about the cash cups today and who's playing with who and who's split, because a lot of you guys are really confused on the new teams. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not going to be breaking down everything with tweets and like really going in depth on what the new teams are, where they're dropping and what's going on. That's going to come closer to the new season because a lot of these teams aren't real, or at least they aren't real now and they might change later. We've so long until the next FNCS and more cash cups. The last major duo cash cup was today. A lot of these teams are just playing together for fun and just messing around, and if they played with a teammate and they didn't do well during FNCS or the vibes were off, they're obviously just going to pick up any of their friends and play with them. But the ones I wanted to talk about are the major teams that you guys are freaking out about. Benjy and Savage, Miro and Booger, teams like that. So to start off with Miro and Booger, they did not split. Miro played in the final cash cup with Rise, Booger played with Avery. This is not new. 2 days before they won FNCS, Miro and Booger were playing in the same tournament with different teammates. I don't know if it's like a strategy of theirs. Maybe it keeps them fresh. They don't play every tournament together. So when they do play together, they take it more seriously. And then when they play together, it's like game mode. Like that is big tournament day. It sounds crazy to not just get as much experience with your teammate as possible, but they've won 3 FNCS together. So clearly it's working. And they're not the only ones. After what was a 3rd place, almost 2nd by Tayson and Thomas, they play in the cash cups today with different teammates as well. They switched up. Pink and Anas both switched teammates with Tayson and Thomas. We had Thomas HD and Anas, and we had Tayson and Pink. So it's not unheard of for these top tier pros to switch it up and have some fun and try out new teammates. So don't freak out about all those new teams. Most of them are just going to be playing with other friends for a bit of fun. The other one, Benjy and Savage. Savage seems like like he's taking a break for the rest of the season. He's going to London with his girlfriend, which I actually think is great. It's setting a really good standard for Fortnite pros to actually have a life outside of gaming. And if you had a performance that, you know, you didn't really like, instead of, you know, head down, grinding super hard and trying to, you know, get back the skill that you lost and that's why you didn't perform, just take a mental refresher, take a break, come back next season when the meta changes, the map's going to change, come in fresh and start popping off. Because when you've been playing this game for years and hundreds of thousands of hours, like, oh sorry, at least thousands of hours, just a ridiculous amount of time, having a week or two off is not going to make you washed. If anything, a mental reset could be massive. And I know the motivation to want to grind out to try and replace again next time, a lot of times it's best just to reset. So don't freak out too much about the new teams. There are some official new teams as well, and I will talk about them later. Like we have Acorn and Edgy now forming. I will talk about those teams, but I wanted to do that all in one dedicated video, and there's a very good chance these teams change. I know there's going to be a snakening coming into next season where a few of these top tier teams drop their teammates and find new teammates and reform. So I don't want to talk about them now when there's a very good chance it's going to change, and there's no really relevant tournaments they're about to play in anyway. We just had the last Duo Cash Cup. There'll probably be some Duo Cash Cups maybe early in next season, and I can talk about it coming into that, but I'd rather leave it and wait for everyone to find their new teams first. I don't want to go into too much detail on the Cash Cups from today because, again, the very last Duo Cash Cup of the season, most of the teams weren't playing with their real teams, dropping in different places, but I did want to just talk about the top leaderboard a little bit because it was interesting to see. We did have Andretta and Hellfire, which are a brand new team, placing first in their final Cash Cup out of Greasy. It was really cool to see from this team. They played phenomenally. They finished on 195 points, just beating out Shady and Waves on 188. We had DKS and Bad Sniper following up their phenomenal FNCS performance with a third place. Rifler and Marion, Rezon and Vidil. We had Hen and Queasy because, of course, Hen and Queasy are on a tear right now. We had Pink and Tayson. Like I mentioned, they are not a real team. Rescard and Scram, Phoenix and Ryzen, and Zhu and Stompy. So a lot of those teams still playing together despite not having the best FNCS performances. But again, I think a lot of those could change when we come into the new season. As far as NA East, this is exactly what we would have expected because NA East leaderboard was probably one of the least stacked lobbies I've ever seen, of just a lot of new faces, a lot of people playing with different teams, a lot of EU teams qualifying on NA, but at the very top, it was the 4 teams that have been placing really well through all of FNCS who are still playing together and still going their usual drop spots uncontested. You had Pamstu and Fatch absolutely dominated in first on 243 points, having 6 matches and 1 win, beating out Degen and Iomzo by, again, almost 50 points in second on 197, Threats and Users on 179, and Joji and Rokane on 159. So 4 teams that have performed really well throughout FNCS. Absolutely no surprise there. But then we did get our brand new team of Acorn and Edgy now dropping Tilted Towers on 151, and then Mirror and Rise, which I touched on, is not a real team. We had Shadow and Me Too, who I think have been one of the most underrated teams of NA East this season. Skittles and Peterbot, which is a new team, but I don't know whether they're actually sticking together. They don't really have an IGL. They came 8th place because they got a 9 elim second and a 7 elim second, and that was like 80 or 90% of their points in just 2 games. We had Death and Tabnate, and then Teo and Pledge in 10th. All right, guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.